Welcome to another Giants Huddle podcast. John Schmeelk, Paul Dottino with you, joined by Mike Garafolo from NFL Network. It's all brought to you by PSE&G. Energy efficiency for game time at any time. Visit pseg.com/Giants for discounts, rebates, and home energy assessments. Mike, good to see you, man. How's the combine treating you?
Going great, Schmeelk. Now that I'm here with you, my man, you know, Paul Dottino as well. I mean, come on now. It doesn't get much better than this.
I got a couple paisans next to me. I feel very comfortable. Mike, let's start here. Daniel Jones, contract, negotiation, Giants.
You want to talk about Daniel and Saquon?
Yes, a little bit. Let's start. You can go both if you want. Whatever you want to do. What are you hearing?
What I'm hearing is I think get back to me on March 6th, right? Because that's the day before the deadline to tag any player, but Daniel Jones foremost amongst them, obviously. I think we get close before something gets done. What's today, March 1st?
Yeah.
We got 6 days. I think they're going to use all 6 days. And I'm still confident in what I felt from the beginning, which is that both Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley do long-term deals to remain with the Giants. Now, look, you get Daniel done, let's say March 6th. You can tag Saquon Barkley as a placeholder, as a chance to say, hey, and they go back to 2008, I want to say. Brandon Jacobs got the tag, and as the Giants announced it, said, we will continue discussions on a long-term deal, because Brandon made it clear he was not going to be happy if he got tagged.
Right.
And it was just a placeholder to continue discussions and make sure this guy stays in the fold. So I think that's the ideal scenario. If you're asking me to predict how it goes, I think that's how it goes 6 days from now.
Well, free agency is clearly the big story here for the Giants, even more so than their 25th overall pick in the first round. So let me ask you this. Let's assume you're correct, and I think most people want you to be correct, that both of these guys will re-sign. Is there going to be enough room for them to make even one big splash amongst the rest of the free agents?
It depends how big your splash is, right? I mean, I think they're looking for, I know they're looking for options at the target position. I say target position because you've got receivers and you've got tight ends that are going to be out there and possibilities for them on the market. So, I don't know that there's big splashy ones available right now. Now, look, I'll just throw a name out. If DeAndre Hopkins gets cut, now that's to me considered splashy. Right?
Oh, yeah.
He would be available, potentially a trade as well. But I just don't see it doesn't look like a great free agent class. That doesn't mean that there's not guys out there that you can sign that would help you. But from a splash standpoint, I don't know that they go big in that, because a lot of that is going to be out. Think about it in terms of if they tag Daniel Jones, that was going to hamper their ability to bring Saquon back. Right? So that hampers your ability now, on top of that, to go do other business as well. But they'll be active enough.
I'm glad you mentioned a possible trade, because we all seem to believe the Giants have to upgrade the wide receiver room. That's pretty much unanimous, okay? Are there potential deals out there, given what the market price may be for a top quality wide receiver, where they could use draft picks and come up with somebody that way?
Yeah, I don't think that they want to, though. I think they want to use those draft picks to build and to get their guys in the building. I mean, they're still in the process of – that's what makes this whole Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley thing awkward, is they're not their picks. And – those guys may not have taken those guys where the previous regime drafted them, but they're contributors for a team that made the playoffs last year.
Won a playoff game.
And Daniel Jones could potentially grow even more. I mean, that's why I asked Joe Shane about that the other day. I said, how much of this is we're willing to do a long-term deal with you. We're willing to go to a certain point. They've got their quote-unquote walk-away number. But we're willing to go to a certain point. That's a really good point for a player who, at this point last year, they were ready to decline the fifth-year option, and they did. This is the toughest part for these guys, is we want to keep these guys in the fold, even though they're not our guys, while now stocking the cupboard with our guys through the draft. So I think that's priority number one, is to make sure they use that draft capital to bring their own guys in.
All right, let's say worst comes to worst, they have to tag Daniel and Saquon hits the open market, right?
Yeah.
It's such a flooded running back market, Mike, with good veterans, but also the draft class is supposed to be pretty deep in running backs too this year. So what, is that going to suppress the running back market a little bit, or do you think Saquon will get maybe not McCaffrey money, but something close to that if he does hit the open market, or is that reported number of 12.5 that was bandied about, back earlier.
It's got to be higher than that.
It's going to be higher than that, you think?
It's got to be higher than that, but not much higher than that. I mean, I don't think it gets it. McCaffrey, now Saquon, you can line him up out wide. You can do a bunch of stuff with him. He catches the ball out of the backfield. This is not to say that he's 3 yards in a cloud of dust, because he's not.
Of
right?
course.
He's clearly more than that. But McCaffrey, the way that the Niners were using him, he's lined up out wide. He's in the slot. He's doing a whole bunch of stuff.
He was 1,000 and 1,000 in Carolina.
You justify it by saying this is a guy who is more than just a running back. He is. We're paying him as both. Can they do the same with Deebo Samuel as well? And that's why they were willing to go as high as they were with him. They've got a unique offense. They've got a unique attack. For Saquon, it's a couple notches below that maybe. I think the number is somewhere 13, 14, something like that. And there's ways to say, hey, look, we're not willing to go all the way there, but we can give you chances to get there. And I think that may be something that they have to look at with Daniel Jones as well. You make the playoffs, boom, there's a bonus. We win a playoff game, there's another one. I mean, these things are in these contracts anyway, but you can make them, more attainable, and you can also make them more lucrative and say, look, if he continues to progress, both of these guys continue to progress, that's a good problem to have. To have to pay that is going to be a good problem for us.
Joe Schoen has said he wants to bring Julian Love back. Julian Love says he wants to come back, but he's got to get the other two guys, Jones and Barkley, done first. What will be the market for a starting safety in this league? Should they not be able to get to Love in the meantime?
Yeah, that safety market went up to 19-20 is the top of the market right now. And there's a couple of guys. Jesse Bates is one of them. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, though, he's a safety cornerback combo type guy who are going to be on the market. And I don't know that they're going to get close to the top of the market. They're going to get good money. I don't know that they get close to. Let me get my handy dandy.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I got
the numbers are all there at your fingertips.
I got a
love
guy
it.
who gives me a. Where'd he go? I think he changed the name of the group thread that he put it on. Here.
Okay.
Let's see what he valued Julian Love at. So.
And to be fair, Julian Love had to step up when McKinney got hurt during the bye week and was asked to do a lot of things that were out of the box, and obviously did them well enough that the Giants were still able to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I understand his pitch for himself, but again, there were only so many dollars to go around.
So he's got Jesse Bates at 16, which is a fair number. Like I said, I don't think he gets to the top of the market, but he's got him around there. He's got C.J. Gardner-Johnson at 10. Von Bell from the Bengals comes in around 9. He's got Julian Love around $6 million a year. Maybe it's a little low. Maybe it could wind up being a little higher. It just takes a team to fall in love with a guy, and all of a sudden the price goes up, and are they willing to match it? So he's got him around there, and it's a decent number for him. Look, he's so much more than what he brings on the field. He's a culture guy. He's a big part of that locker room. I've enjoyed my conversations with him, so I think that's somebody that they want to get back if they can get him back to the right number.
Okay, Mike, around the league, it always takes a couple early dominoes that people wait for before stuff starts happening, right? What are the dominoes this year?
Aaron Rodgers.
Is it really that simple? Is it really that simple?
Quick.
What are the dominoes?
Is that also a Derek Carr's waiting for too?
Yeah. No. Derek Carr realizes that there could still be more. Listen, Lamar Jackson is a guy that we're watching right now, and I still don't think it's a certain thing that he goes back to Baltimore. If I had to guess right now, I'd say he's back. But there are ways for the Ravens. To me, if I'm the Ravens, I just made this point. We're talking to our guys. I would accelerate it. I'd say, look, we know what you want. We know you haven't been willing to take what we're offering. Let's put the non-exclusive tag on you. Go ahead. Go out. Go have conversations.
Right.
Go see what's out there. Because it gives you the ability to match it, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Also get 2 first-round picks in exchange, which may not be enough for him. But also using the threat of, somebody signs him and say, well, we're going to match it unless you make a trade with us. And then you can get more than those 2 picks in exchange for him. So there's ways for them to kind of – I would hit the accelerator. I don't want to go through 2 years of this guy playing on the tag because he wants a certain deal that we're not willing to – let's just figure it out now, right? And if it means that we lose him, then we lose him, and we've got to get long-term clarity at the position anyway. So that's just my unsolicited advice to the Ravens, who are definitely watching Giants.com to figure out what they want to do with it.
Yes, and then there's anyone in the trade market, Mike, that maybe people aren't talking about enough. Last year we saw the Hills and Devontae Adams move, which are as big of names as you can get. Yeah. Anyone this year on the trade market that you think maybe people aren't talking about, but they should?
Yes, but I can't say.
Okay.
But if it happens, I'll tell you.
Okay, excellent. That's what I like to hear. Paul,
give me a sealed envelope. I'll write it in there and I'll say, do not open until whenever.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm I'm trying to think of some other ones that maybe I can say. How about that?
Also, he actually does have a name. That's interesting.
Oh,
See,
yeah,
now,
I do.
see, now I'm thinking.
Okay.
Maybe I'll tell you off air, Schmeelk.
Okay, how about that? And then,
All right,
and then I
final
will
one
keep
for
my mouth
me.
shut.
I'll bail you out on that one. Final one for me. Is there going to be anybody tagged?
It's a quarterback, by the way.
Oh. Is there anybody that's going to get tagged before the deadline
For
any team in the NFL amongst the big
franchise
superstar-
tags?
Yes.
Yeah, Tony Pollard's going to get tagged. Josh Jacobs is going to get
Before the deadline. They'll do it early.
Well, it has to be before the deadline.
yeah.
That's why it's a
No,
deadline.
no. But I'm saying a lot of guys wait till the last 24 hours.
Well, no, I think you'll get that. Yeah, the last day or two. I'm surprised that the Commanders did Deron Payne as
Well,
early as
that's
they
why
did.
I'm bringing it up,
Yeah, I
because
don't-
Payne just got tagged, and all
Yeah.
of a sudden we're like, well, how did that
Well,
happen?
the 7th is a Tuesday. So
yeah.
you'll probably get Monday, and then you'll definitely get some more on Tuesday. But there'll be some guys. I thought that like I mentioned Jesse Bates. He's not gonna. He's gonna be free. I think the Bengals are gonna let him go and sign elsewhere. C.J. Gardner-Johnson I mentioned. I think the Eagles are not going to tag him.
Right.
Where did my handy dandy sheet go? Orlando Brown's an interesting one. the
Ooh,
left
that is
tackle.
interesting.
I don't know that he's getting tagged. I
wow.
think because they have so many guys that they've got
They
on
do.
the offensive line within the next couple of years that they have to take care of. So Orlando got an offer from the Chiefs last year, which would basically have guaranteed both franchise tags. If he doesn't get tagged, I think he's totally fine with it. You know, he's a Super Bowl winning left
Oh,
tackle.
he'll get big money.
Yeah, so Orlando could be on the market. Let's keep an eye on that one. There's always a surprise. Jacoby Myers he's going to get paid a lot of money if he hits the open market. Yeah, you'll see that flurry of guys Monday, Tuesday. But I think you're going to get 3 running back tags if Daniel Jones gets a long-term deal. Saquon, Josh Jacobs, and Tony Pollard.
Okay, can I get one more in?
I'm done. Yeah, go ahead.
Don't ask him, ask me. Sure. You ain't the boss of me.
Who might be the biggest name in the June 1st salary cap casualty list?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Michael Thomas maybe with the Saints. They got to figure out what they want to do with him. DeAndre Hopkins is a possibility. I mentioned him because
Will they find a trade for him, do you think?
The last time he got traded, he got a contract to go along with it, even though he had a couple of years left. And
Right.
that's kind of why we are where we are, because he got that extension with big numbers on it, and we're at $19.5 million, I think. So that's another interesting one to watch. Ezekiel Elliott knows he has to come back at a lower number, so if he doesn't get there, he could be on the market as well. Blanking on a few more, but there's plenty.
Okay.
Always a lot of action, Mike. Good stuff, dude. I really
Thanks,
appreciate you
Mike.
coming on, man. Thank you. A little pound
We
action.
screwed
Go
up the-
like
We'll
that.
go with another
Okay,
fist.
there we go.
There you
Mike
go.
Garafolo, NFL
Likewise.
Network. Smooth as always. Thank you for joining us in the Giants Huddle podcast. We'll see you next time, everyone.